Yeah. So yeah, it's another beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, the neighborhood. I don't really know how that song goes. I'm sorry. So, but what I do know is that we are here. What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another exciting episode of Nerd Word, where the word is nerd. Nerd. No, I'm not going to start singing it. And as always, I am HaplessLuckett.
And I am GuymanBroDawg.
And I am Jake through the phone again.
He is here with us in spirit.
The mic, the camera's right there. Don't look at you. Look at your camera. Look at the camera. Not,
yeah.
Well, the audience is here, man.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna take some getting used to because it's just us. It's just me, him, and because we have a member of our team out sick.
He's down for the count.
Yeah, but he'll be fine and he'll be back next time. But other than that, how is everybody's weekend?
Man, mine was fantastic, dude. Got to go to the theater. That's always a good time.
Yeah.
I got the whole weekend off. That's always amazing. And my shirt says it for itself, like weekend plans, playing video games. It was dope.
Yeah, and I heard that you recently got Elden Ring.
I did.
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet.
You're going to have to tell me how that is because I'm kind of not wanting to see it or play it because I've never been into those games. Jake, how about you? How's your weekend?
It was pretty good. Went down to Cincinnati Friday night to watch the Batman, and then went back up to Dayton to do some team building with my day job teammates, and ended up watching the Batman again. And today I've just been playing the new Borderlands 3 DLC that I didn't know existed. So,
nice.
Good stuff.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Well, that is good. Well, welcome everyone to Nerd Word. So, we do want to talk about the Batman. The Batman would be awesome to talk about. Well, we'll talk about that later because we want to talk about some other things that aren't really spoilers. We want to save all the spoilers to the end so that way you guys can enjoy us throughout the entire way. So, first things I want to talk about is Moon Knight. Comes out at the end of this month.
That's so close.
It is, but yeah, it is still so far away. It is so far away. Now, in my mind, I think Oscar Isaac's gonna play an amazing job as Mr. Spectre. But also, do you feel like he is because I feel like he is the Marvel's version of Batman. Because a lot of people make comparison between Batman and Moon Knight, or also there's Batman and Black Panther. But that's just me. I feel like he's closer to Moon Knight than Black Panther. But what do you guys think about this show? Like, how excited are we for it?
My expectations are really high. Because, these Disney shows have only been getting better and better. And to introduce a, well-established character in the comics that most people are familiar with, it's gonna be big. You know how Disney does.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. What about you, Jake?
I'm kind of indifferent on Moon Knight. I didn't really know a whole lot about the character beforehand, and after the latest rounds of superhero content, I'm kind of fatigued again. So, not really have an opinion. It looks like it's going to be great from the trailer. It's going to be good for Disney. So,
well, Jake, real quick. I know I have you on speaker, but are you on speaker while I have you on speaker? Because you might have to be off speaker when I have you on speaker.
Sorry, I had you on speaker while you had me on speaker.
Yeah,
while simultaneously being both on speaker. So yeah, I'm indifferent on the whole Moon Knight thing. Like it looks interesting for people that are super into the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait and see what the first 3 episodes come out and see how they do before, really investing myself into it too much.
Well, I mean, if you hang out with us, you're going to end up... you're on this podcast. You're going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
You're going to watch it. Jake's going to watch it, y'all. I'm just playing.
I don't know how I feel about that. You said that.
No, you obviously don't have to watch it because that would actually give us something else to talk about and something to spoil for you. So, but I think I'm excited for it. It's something that I've been wanting. I've been waiting for a Moon Knight. My only thing about this is I'm kind of upset that it's a Disney Plus show as opposed to. And the reason why is because the title of it is Disney Plus. There's not going to be like any really hard core stuff ever coming to Disney on Disney Plus. If Daredevil, I don't think Deadpool 3 would be on Disney Plus. I think that might end up going to Hulu. So maybe. I feel like that should be something that Hulu probably should have picked up, or they should have put on Hulu, so that way they can take off the chains and allow Moon Knight to actually be Moon Knight. But I'm still gonna say, obviously, I'm excited for it because, it's Moon Knight, so I'm gonna like it, and and MCU, to me, in my opinion, has been making some really excellent shows, so I'm excited for that.
I'm grateful we get Moon Knight in the MCU now.
I am too, but what makes me sad is that they're already saying that it's you can already kind of count out a season 2.
Really?
That's just what I heard, but I don't know. It's still early. There's still speculations. We haven't had the episodes yet.
That we'll just have to see on.
Yeah, and also after watching how dark kind of Hawkeye kind of was, like how it was a little bit darker than most of the other shows. Granted, it wasn't like anything crazy, but it was a little darker.
It had darker undertones.
Yeah. So there's a little bit more.
The dog's drinking water.
You were thinking the same thing. So I'm kind of excited for Moon Knight.
I am very excited.
Now
Jake is indifferent.
Jake is indifferent, but it's Disney and Marvel, so I can understand where he comes from. And plus, he's not like MCU fans like we are.
Right. He likes DC. Okay,
no.
I like DC.
Yeah, I do too.
You know what? I love you guys. I love your opinions.
I love you too, Jake.
Yeah.
We're just teasing. Just a tease. But I do want to ask a question, even though we were talking about vengeance. But I do want to steer vengeance. I kind of want to steer to the other side of vengeance, and that's sadness. I don't know if that's really the other side of vengeance, but recently Elden Ring did just come out, and I mentioned how you just bought that. I never understood something. When I play video games, I'm a streamer myself. When I play video games, I play to be relaxed. I play to have fun. I do admire a challenge. I don't want it to be like a cakewalk, but how is it that people like love Dark Souls games so much? Like, why is it that like Horizon Forbidden West just came out, and I love that game. I think that's like an amazing game. It's beautiful. But as soon as Elden Ring came out, which came out like a week later, Horizon Forbidden West is already a thing of the past to most. So, why are Elden Rings? What do you think? What do you guys think make people like Dark Souls games so much, even though they're excruciatingly challenging? I mean, like sometimes I want to gouge my eyes out playing these games.
Well, Jake, do you have an answer for that?
Yeah. So I think the best way of describing it is kind of like how you describe Sifu to me.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's challenging, but it's just that right amount of challenge to those kind of people where it's not like controller breaking frustrating and they want to go back at it again.
Hold up. Have you played Dark Souls games? They're controller breaking frustrating.
My one experience with the Dark Souls game was like Dark Souls 3. I played it over at a buddy's house from the beginning. Yeah. I watched him fail at the boss like 6 times, and I picked up the controller and figured out how to beat the first boss that you face, and he got mad. We played something else.
So you figured out how to beat the boss before a player of the game learned how to beat the boss?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you're just a special breed.
I guess. It's old school, like, kind of pattern fighting kind of stuff. You pay attention to what their attack cycles are. And, react that way. So, it's just really hard.
It is. It's insanely hard because I'm not gonna lie. The first Dark Souls type game that I played was Bloodborne. and I got that when I got my PlayStation 4. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago. 2017, actually, I think it was. And that was one of the first games that I got with it because it was a PlayStation exclusive, and people were raving about it, just like how people rave Sekiro and Elden Ring.
Yeah.
You know, winning all these awards and everything. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I went into it with an open mind, expecting this beautiful, awesome game. At first, I was thrown awry because of how weird everything was. It wasn't like they weren't really humans. I don't know what the hell they were. So I was like, okay, the designs are cool, and I started playing it, and I started dying in like 2 hits, and I'm like, okay, tough. I'll keep trying. I'll give it a try. So I played it for like 2 hours, a couple hours, you know, the same patterns. I'm like, damn, I'm dying constantly. And then I started realizing that, oh, I get all these coins and stuff, or not coins, but souls, and I lose them all. I'm like, all right, didn't give me any story or anything, so it just throws you in it blindly, and I'm all confused. I have no idea what the hell is going on. And then I encounter why Dark Souls games are Dark Souls games. I got to the first boss, and then I didn't play it for like 6 months. And I don't get it.
I can tell you why they're so enjoyable. The challenge is part of the charm. Like there is a certain breed of gamer out there who is all about the challenge and wants to be the best gamer. It's drawing in all those people. Mm-hmm. Not to mention the lore and the story is something you sort of got to work for. Like, they don't give you everything so that you can find other things, if that makes any sense. Like, leveling up your character and actually getting through it is so satisfactory because everything wants you dead in the game. And if you persevere and have like dope armor and you're killing everything in one hit now, like, that is satisfying. But getting to that point is debatable. That's why it's like it's talked about, because people don't like that getting to it.
Yeah, getting to it is I feel like when you're, you know, mashing through all these, like, you know, the small enemies, once you start getting their rhythm, it's like, okay, I could do this. And then you build up and you build up and you gather all these souls, and then, like, you accidentally run into a boss with a whole bunch of souls. You know you're not going to get out of that. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's so tough. Like Sifu, for example. Sifu is insanely challenging, but fighting is awesome. Like, the bosses aren't anything like Dark Souls bosses. They're nothing like them.
Easier.
They're a lot easier, and they're also more pattern oriented. So they'll run literally the same pattern over and over again. You just have to figure out how you're going to move in those particular ways. Sometimes it's really fast, but you can figure it out. So I was playing Sifu last night, and I did a speed run. I was just playing with myself, speed run, trying to gather as many, you know, coins or whatever I have to gather, as much as I can, and try to unlock everything. All right, which would cost me like, I think, like 20,000 experience points.
Okay.
So I speed run the entire thing, didn't die, got to the very end, and I'm like, all right, I'll just go ahead and do all this stuff, like, you know, right before I die. I'm about to fight the boss, so if I beat it, and I got all these points and more. So I tried, and got to the very last coin, to where if I revive, or if I use my revive, it's over if I die again. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna spend all my tokens then. They max out at a certain age, so you can't buy shit.
Oh.
So I was so mad because I had to beat the boss in order to get all these experience points. Otherwise, the whole game would have literally been a waste. Because we were getting ready to see Batman. So I was like, all right, I can finish this, no problem. I died, like, literally halfway through, and I was so pissed. Like, it made me sad. It's coming through there. Yeah. So it's there. Believe me. So yeah, I was so sad, and I almost deleted Sifu. So I can understand.
I mean, if the end of a game makes the whole rest of the game redundant, I'd probably delete it too.
Cause it surely did, and I see that in some of these Souls games. Like, I watched some of these clips for Elden Ring. I even think I showed you. A buddy of mine, Robert Burnt, sent it to me, and I think you'll get a kick out of this, Jacob. One of the big bosses had like one hit left, and he had one hit left. So it was a stalemate. Like, I
did see
yeah.
that. I did.
So he's running around on this horse, trying to avoid this guy. He's, distanced away, sizing him up, getting ready for the perfect strike. And as he's riding, some goblin off screen is holding a torch, and as soon as he gets in screen, one hit, he's game over.
That's awful.
Yes, and that is reasons why I don't play Souls game. I love a challenge because Deathloop is challenging. Deathloop is extremely challenging. It's kind of got the same aspects of the Dark Souls. It's got the Dark Souls feel, but it's not really a Dark Souls game. It's hard.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, you've heard about it, I believe.
Yeah.
But
I just meant like just that level of challenge. I mean, it's just a certain kind of player,
Yeah. It's
And
tough. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say it's also, I think when it comes down to it, is a dick measuring contest. Like somebody's like, "Oh yeah, man, I speed ran Dark Souls 3 in an hour." You'd be like, "Man, that guy's dick is huge."
Yeah, that's probably part of it.
Yeah, or is extremely small.
Oh, that's true too.
Oh yeah.
They'll get sunlight.
But definitely need some sunlight. Actually, like your friend, he plays a lot of fucking games. I saw the list of achievements and all the games that he has and plays. The only game that he's fucking platinum was Bloodborne, and I almost wanted to throw up.
Dude, nah, he is a different breed. Like, he's one of those gamers that game is for.
Oh yeah, really? Yeah, 'cause I've played against him a couple of times in Mortal Kombat. Like he's a gamer, and I respect that. I respect the I don't want to say I respect the hustle, but I respect the dedication to sit there and 100% platinum Bloodborne.
He's so in touch with like the technical side of gaming, like all of like the inputs and stuff you need for like a good combo and stuff. He knows exactly how to do it. He times it by the frame. Like he's insane.
Yeah,
There's gamers like that out there. That's nuts to me.
That is. I find that absolutely insane because I used to be like that as a kid. I used to have that timing. Like when I played Tekken and played Mortal Kombat, I knew everybody's like ultimate combo, everybody's special moves. Now I can only remember like 4. I guess, when age comes down, everything else goes out the window. What about you, Jake? What type of gamer are you?
I'm a filthy casual, man. I like my platformers. I like games like Rocket League, Madden.
I'm sorry, Jake. You're break up. Sorry, it's a lost Jake. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I don't know, Josh. What kind of gamer are you?
I want to say I'm a pro gamer, dude. I play all the games. No, I'm not a pro gamer. I think I'm barely above where you're at. I'm also I'm a casual, experienced veteran, I guess you could say. I don't play online games because I can't handle the pressure, and B, I'm nowhere near as good as the people who play online. Like, I've watched you and your brother play Fortnite and PUBG and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I could never. I'm very story-oriented. I'm a story-oriented gamer because, I write stories. I'm a filmmaker, so I'm into the story. I'm into the story aspect of most games, which is the type that I like.
I agree with you on that. I think seeing a story in any medium is the better way to go. Like, comics, movies, TV, that's all, like, laid out, flushed out stories, and when a game can deliver that same thing and let you control it, that's when the game is succeeding.
Yeah.
That I love those types. Last of Us 2, great example.
Oh my god.
Like, that is such a story-driven game, but it's so perfectly done that it's breathtaking, honestly.
It's not just also the fact that it's a story-driven game. It's also very, very beautiful. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous. And you would think by looking at it that it came out for probably a PlayStation 5. Like, if you never played the game and you looked at gameplay footage, oh, this is a great game. This looks like it came out for PlayStation 5. No, it came out for PlayStation 4. PS4, like, the last one. And it looks that great. It really looks really good, and I absolutely enjoy that. Did you play The Last of Us 2, Jake?
I have not yet. I was so psychologically disturbed by the first game that when the second one came out,
Really?
and I heard that when you stealth through and you pick people off, they cry out names.
Yeah.
Like, no, Josh, no. He was just a boy. Like, I just, no, I'm all right.
Yeah, they really put you in this world, man. It's an intense experience for you.
Yeah, it is really intense. I think that's why I enjoy it so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's like the closest video game in your hands that you can get to something like reality simulating. Because if you were out in a patrol and one of your friends got killed, it wouldn't just be like, oh, what was that? Someone get help! She's here! No, you would...
Metal Gear Solid alarm goes off over your head.
Yeah, exactly. You would actually like, you'd scream out your friend's name. You'd go check on him. You'd panic a little bit, and they put so much life into not just the main characters and the side characters, but they put a lot of life into the NPCs.
Oh yeah.
And which made it so much more in depth, grounded. Yes, good word. So, I really wish you were able to stomach stuff like that, Jake, because I think, like, as a storyteller yourself, you would be, like, enthralled. You beat the entire first game?
Oh, no, I mean, I've beaten the first one, yeah, and I played through the DLC.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I don't know, I just feel like I'd have to be in, the right mindset to play a game like that, and I don't know,
I totally get it.
End up playing other stuff instead of playing The Last of Us 2.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you ever got the interest, definitely, ooh, burp stuck. Pick it up if you ever have if you feel like you could ever stomach it. It's such a great story. Like, the story is
very worth it.
Yeah, story is probably where it's at for me. But speaking of story, that actually kind of segues into the next part that I wanted to get into in our beautiful episode of Noiding Word. If you had a video game and you had to pick one or the other, what do you think would be better as far as like a video game? Does the story matter more, or does the gameplay matter more? Like, if it had a good story, an excellent story, but kind of shitty gameplay, would that be better than a game that has excellent gameplay but a really shitty story? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Are you thinking for, like, us personally, or, like, for it, like, in general, for
everybody?
Like, if everybody had one game that...
Well, every person is different. I'm just saying, like, the arguments between... What do you think the argument is between a video game and gameplay? Like,
well, for me, I would prefer a story any day. But, like, in terms of everybody else and, like, making money, the gameplay is really what matters at the end of the day.
Really?
Yes.
Why do you think that?
Look at Fortnite. Look at all these, like, free games, Apex Legends. It's all gameplay. There's no, like, story. There's, like, bits and pieces of lore, but that's what's selling.
Now, see, but that also brings another question in. Like, it's not much gameplay. They're the exact... You would look at them and they kind of say that they're pretty much the same. They're battle royale shooters. So they're really
not the same.
But there's not really... I don't feel like there's much gameplay between battle royale shooters as opposed to something that has, like, really a good story and something that you have to follow. Again, like The Last of Us. Any real... Honestly, any PlayStation exclusive, they're really more story-driven. What do you think, Jake? Jake?
Yeah, sorry. I was collecting my thoughts on that. You know, I'm really big on story. I talk about it all the time when we talk about movies and things like that. But lately, man, like, as I've gotten older, just because of life and how busy I am, like, I like those old school games where they're just pick up and play, you know? Like,
really?
Something like Doom, for example, wasn't, like, super lore driven. There was a little bit of a paragraph in an instruction manual that came with the game. But, I mean, you're just in a room with, like, demons and zombies. It's pretty self-explanatory, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like to pick up and play stuff. I also like a really good, well-crafted story. Red Dead Redemption 2, Last of Us 2, GTA 5, you know. Trying to think of some other things recently that have came out. But I mean, those have been like the really big heavy hitters. Ratchet and Clank always tells a phenomenal story.
It does. I think usually it takes a big... In order for a game to really be popular, I think it takes a bit of both. At least it should. I think it deserves... I think a good game determines... It takes a bit of both. You know, a lot of really good story and a lot of gameplay. Because I don't think you could really do one without the other. Because, again, granted, look at Fortnite. It doesn't have... There's no story. But it's a shooter. I think shooters will always be somewhat of a popularity, especially if they're online battle royales, because like Jake said, you can just pick up and go. You know, you can pick up and shoot. You don't have to worry about, I'm stuck in the story. I can only play for like a half hour, 45 minutes or whatever. And you don't want to get stuck into the story. But it's also, like, as a gamer, like you said, when you're watching these stories, like example for Uncharted. Uncharted's got a very fantastic story. The story is beautiful and amazing, and there are moments where you're just like, oh, a little tear. And it's better to be able to have that in your hands and be able to control the story and control control the outcome of a story, based on what you do, as opposed to, I could just pull the trigger and shoot and that's all I need to focus on. I feel like it also really depends on, the style of gamer that you're dealing with. Any other thoughts on that?
Have you ever played, have either of you ever played Until Dawn? Until Dawn,
yes.
That game, I'm going to give that game a little bit more praise than I normally would. That and Telltale games, honestly, the way that they craft their stories is unlike any other game, and I really enjoy them a lot. Like, that's probably my go-to type of game. If I could only have one type of game, like story, point and click, the decisions matter type stuff.
And I honestly, for the longest time, I had that in my PlayStation Plus account, and it was just sitting there because whenever PlayStation Plus releases this new game, it was like I just add them just to have in my library. So one day I was just like, I've seen you and Jake play it right when you guys got your PlayStation. So I was like, I'll try it. And then, again, there's no gameplay. There's zero gameplay. Like, you point and click, you can walk, but you can't really attack or do anything special.
But you make these crucial decisions to the story, and everything has consequences or the opposite.
Yeah. And lately,
Julian will remember that, Josh.
What's that?
Julian will remember that, Josh.
Or he won't, or he'll forget. It's fine.
Tell me why when you said that, I was looking at the screen up there, and in my head, I saw that pop up in the corner.
Because. Just because. But I do agree. I'm more of a... usually the first time I play games like these, those point and clicks, I try my absolute best to get the absolute best outcome. I do everything I can. Yeah. I'll even cheat sometimes. I'll even admit, like those point and clicks, I'll cheat because I want to see the best outcome. Because if I play it without that, I'll never get it. So I want to see usually what I do is I'll play it the first time, try to get the best possible outcome, and then after that, I'll use my own imagination and create the best story that I can, because I don't feel so restricted. I've seen what it should be, and I can create things how I want. Unless it's a game like, Red Dead Redemption, where I'm automatically going to be, where your choices do matter, but you actually have control. I always err on the side of, like, what do I do? What would I do as that character? Do you ever play those games, Jake? Do you ever play those? How do you handle those situations whenever you have a chance?
So, I mean, typically, I just try to... I don't want to spoil anything with it, so I just go through and use my own morals,
Yeah.
Like, I don't try to go... If I want to get the good ending, I don't really try to go too far off of, like in Mass Effect, for example. It's, I can't remember what the good morale is called, but there's like usually a good set 50-50 split. So even though there's usually 4 options, there's usually 2 outcomes. But anyways, beside the point, I just try to play through it how I want to play through it. If things go bad, they go bad. Heavy Rain, we mentioned Dead by Daylight before, but like Heavy Rain is a perfect example of a game where I just kind of played through and I got the good ending.
Yeah.
So, if you get the bad ending, it just gives you more reason to go back and play it again.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that about those games, like the fact that you can craft different stories each time you play it, but it's still like kind of the same story. It's really impressive.
You can always learn more,
and it warrants replay. Like there's a lot of replay value in that.
Speaking of play, we started, what was it, Beyond Two Souls?
Yeah,
and we
that's
never finished it. We gotta somehow finish that game somehow. I might have to start it without you.
Still on PS Now, I think.
Yeah. But moving on from video games, I want to kind of like steer this direction into some of the main parts of what this podcast is about. But I do, before we get into those, the main one, the beef, do want to ask, between all the Batman villains, obviously Joker is probably the most prominent. He's the fan favorite of most DC comic book movie lovers and comic book viewers. Who do you guys think the best out of everybody who has been the Joker? Who do you guys think is the best? Jake, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, that's.
That's a hard question for me because they're all different eras of character. But I would have to go with the Keaton Batman Joker. Forgetting his name, Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Now, is that just because of nostalgia?
No. I mean, in terms of like a Batman within that universe, like I like Nicholson's Joker. It plays to the current, era of Joker that existed at the comic time.
Yeah.
There's things I like about Ledger's performance, but you only played it once. Nicholson played it twice.
Nicholson played it once.
I thought he was in it.
No, he died in the first Batman movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Whatever. Nicholson's a better actor than Heath Ledger.
I think those are fighting words.
That's shade. That's
shade because Heath Ledger's acting short.
Objectively, Jack Nicholson is a better actor than Heath Ledger.
I'm just saying to say that is because his acting career got cut short. Jack Nicholson has gotten 40 plus years of acting, so to say he's a better actor is like saying I don't know. I don't have a comparison, but
I mean, like, objectively, even by the age that Heath Ledger died, Jack Nicholson is still a better actor. And more awards. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nicholson walked so Ledger could attempt to run. At least.
Sure, because I'm going to have to go with the Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Joaquin Phoenix.
That's fair.
But I am also a big fan of the Jack Nicholson. Like, he would probably be my favorite one. I love the Heath Ledger one, but I was talking to my buddy Q, our mutual friend Q, and he pointed out a couple of things. The Heath Ledger Joker was a lot more tame because he didn't have a body count. Jack Nicholson's Joker had a body count by the end of that movie.
Killing hell of people.
Yeah, he had a body count. That's Joker. Joker got a body count. Joaquin Phoenix, Jared Leto, he had a body count by the end of that movie. Like, he did. Heath Ledger, he killed like three people.
There was the guy with the pencil.
Yeah. That's the one guy that we can remember.
I can't remember.
He might have killed somebody in a bank robbery.
Maybe.
But he blew up an empty hospital.
Yeah.
And he gave 2 boats a detonator and made them psychologically pick who's going to die.
I mean, that is...
It's
granted,
terrifying.
That's some Joker stuff.
That's terrifying.
That's not very
but no,
deadly.
What Q told me is like Joker would have blown up one of those boats and then told Batman to come get him. Like, come get him before he blows up the other one. And I'm just like, yeah, the Joker probably would have did that. Because the Joker crazy. Like, he's completely crazy. And I feel like Heath Ledger's a little bit more tame. Like, he set up chaos and all that stuff, but that's like what Penguin does. That's what Riddler does.
I see where you're coming from.
So I feel like Heath Ledger was cool. He was cool. He was nice. But Jack Nicholson was probably definitely there. But also Joaquin Phoenix. Even though we didn't really see him at his full Joker potential, you saw what he could be. Yeah. He blew somebody's brains out on national TV and left.
Yeah.
No, he shot him twice. He shot his arm in the face and then shot him again in front of a live studio audience.
Robert De Niro gets brutalized in the Joker.
Yeah. On live TV.
Yeah.
So
he dead.
And then, very Jokerish.
And then he killed somebody for making fun of him and let his little buddy walk out. Like, he killed somebody in front of somebody and was just like, yeah, you can leave. Like, that shit's menacing. It's gonna haunt him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Like, Joker was crazy, and you could see it.
My favorite Joker. Does it have to be from a movie?
No, just your favorite Joker.
There was a short film that I saw on YouTube. It was posted by Bat in the Sun. Mm-hmm. It's called Batman Dying is Easy. The Joker from that is my favorite Joker ever. He looked the part. He played the part. It was perfect. And Batman was done really well, too. If you haven't seen that short, do yourself the favor. It was so good. And I could have seen that on the big screen.
Okay, well, out of the ones who everyone else in the world would know, who is your favorite?
That's tough.
It is. It's very tough. But you can do it. I mean, before you pick him, Mark Hamill doesn't count because I'm pretty sure he's just the OG. So that's like saying God before every statement. No, it doesn't count because it's just unanimously he's the OG. But continue.
All right, third time's the charm. I guess my third favorite Joker is probably Joaquin Phoenix, man. He was really good. I enjoyed that movie thoroughly. And he held his own. Like, that was a Joker movie that didn't even have Batman in it, and it was still amazing. Yeah,
and I think that's one of the things that most people miss. Granted, it did have 2 Oscar actors in it, with Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro. But he held his own. Robert De Niro was like, he wasn't really a prominent character in it.
Yeah.
But Joaquin Phoenix was literally Joaquin Phoenix just shining. And I have to give him a lot more acting props than I ever gave him before.
Mm-hmm.
But now we'll shift from Joker to Batman. Who was the best one to ever don the cowl?
What do you think, Jake?
No, Jake went first last time. You go first.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to hear his voice again. I missed him.
Well, now you heard his voice.
Dang. Okay. I think I'm gonna tie 2.
You're gonna tie 2.
I'm gonna tie 2 Batman because there's 2.
Kevin Conroy doesn't count because it's, again, same reason for Mark Hamill.
I got you. But Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson, because they both play 2 different sides of Batman perfectly. Like, they're both spot on Batman, but they're also both very different.
Yeah.
And I love them both for it. Like, I love their uniqueness to each other.
I have to agree with that because after watching the Batman, and we agree with you, Sirius. I agree with you. Mark Hamill, Nicholson, and Phoenix are those guys as Jokers. But again, after watching the Batman last night, I'm still torn between the 2 because of the same reason. Because we got to see the best Batman as far as The Dark Knight Returns and Ben Affleck's Batman. Like, the suit. The second out, because I was completely against Ben Affleck when I was like, what? Ben Affleck? Why would he play Batman? Why? No. The second you saw that on-screen like that costume, the concept. I was like, okay, that's fucking why. He literally looked like he jumped off the page, and the way he portrayed Bruce Wayne, so because Bruce Wayne is just like literally doesn't care. He's always emotionless. He's very stoic. He's very monotone, and that's exactly how Ben Affleck kind of acts. So, but also as Batman, he was just so dark and so menacing, and I loved it. And the fight scene in Batman versus Superman,
the warehouse.
The warehouse is probably still the best Batman fight scene I've ever seen.
That was I mean,
even I'd even put that over everything that we've seen in that, because as far as a fight scene, a single fight scene, collectively, obviously the Batman wins, but a single fight scene, Batman.
Right, yeah, fair point.
And I love Michael Keaton. I loved Michael Keaton, but when Batfleck stepped in that suit, I'm like, God damn.
So is that who you're putting at
the top?
No,
because I'm also going with what you said.
Okay.
After seeing Robert Pattinson as Batman,
Nice.
It's like, well, Jesus, man, this guy he's just like what I said about Ben Affleck. I was like, why is Robert Pattinson playing Bruce Wayne? It doesn't make any sense. And then as soon as you see him, it's like, okay, I can see why Robert Pattinson's playing Bruce Wayne. He looks like a very young Bruce Wayne, like very young, just starting off, because it's 2 years in. And the way he handles himself as Batman, you can see, like, all right, I can see why all the menacing things people say about him, like how he talks, how he just stares at you and you don't want to talk. They portrayed, Matt Reeves did a great job with that.
Oh yeah, he killed it. It was amazing.
Jake, now it's your turn.
Batman.
Favorite Batman. I would say, give me Robert Pattinson.
You'd say Robert Pattinson?
Okay.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Give me Pattinson and give me Keaton.
Oh, you're taking Keaton?
You're tying those two?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Keaton and Pattinson. So it's pretty much collectively decided that Pattinson is
Batman.
He's Batman.
Yeah, he's Batman.
Right? Like, oh my goodness.
All three of us. Okay, since that's a unanimous, so we're just gonna take Batman, Pattinson, and put him over here with Kevin Conroy. Yeah. So we've got Batfleck, and Keaton. So that's basically what we've come down to.
Yeah.
Because, and yeah, I agree, Sirius. Yeah, doing other characters would be good, but those two are just same thing with Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Batman are just so iconic that you do them again, it's not gonna fail. But if you have not seen the Batman series,
do it.
Do it.
Do it now.
I'm telling you, it's worth it.
Tickets this second.
It's so worth it. If anyone has not seen the Batman, Jake said he's already seen it twice, and it came out Thursday or
Friday.
Came out 2 days ago, the 4th.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
So he's already seen it twice, and it's a 3-hour-long movie.
3 hours.
So you spent about 6 hours of your life watching the Batman, which I can't even be mad at.
Those 3 hours didn't feel wasted.
It didn't.
And I'm sure watching it that second time was pretty needed, huh, Jake?
Yeah. The first time I watched it, I saw it so late. I saw it at 10:45 on a Friday night.
That's when we
see
saw
it in IMAX. I missed a lot of details with it, so going around and having that second view, I was able to pick up on kind of what I missed on, and then some of the other small details that they thrown in the movie. So,
well, speaking of the Batman, I think it's about that time where we can actually get into speaking about it. So, for those who have not seen the Batman, this is your one and only spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1. You have been warned.
I'll warn you multiple times.
That was the spoiler horn.
Yes. So again, if you have not seen the Batman, that was your only warning.
3 hours.
Yes.
It is that long.
It is that long, and but it's worth it. It's so
Every
worth
minute is blissful.
So, getting into the Batman.
Yes.
Does anybody want to start off? Because I'll talk forever.
I am dying to hear what Jake thinks, really.
Batmobile.
Batmobile. Batmobile, my...
That's what I think about the Pattinson movie, is Batmobile. No, the Batmobile scene is sweet. I was talking to our friend Chris May earlier. I would say that chase scene would be in my top 5 for like comic book action chase scenes.
Really?
Yeah.
Care to explain why?
It's a real simple scene, but it's just so raw and ugly that it adds to the tension.
Mm-hmm.
And especially at that point in the story with him chasing the penguin because he thinks he's not going to be able to find out who the killer is without interrogating the penguin, you know, there was some real stakes with that.
Yeah.
And it's also young Batman. So, I mean, like, you know. But, I mean, just the roar of that big-ass block engine was so fucking sick seeing that in IMAX. Like, the entire room shook. It was
Same
so
here,
sick.
yeah. It shook. I love the look of it, too. I love the design, and I loved how you could see the vents heating up, and it was, like, fire red. And oh, my God.
That reveal shot, like, when Cobblepot's looking at it and it's like glowing blue and stuff, that had me like on the edge of my seat.
Same
I'm
here.
Like, this Batmobile's about to blast.
Vroom. I think that is probably the best looking Batmobile that we've ever seen. Granted, I liked how the Michael Keaton in the original Batmobile looked, but obviously that looked like, you know, a comic book style car. The Batmobile from Nolan, just to me, it was just absolute 100% trash. We're not even like
Was that the one that like almost looked like a tank?
It was a tank.
Okay.
Granted, how the Batmobile in Arkham Knight is kind of like a tank, I like it there, but that one didn't look like a Batmobile. That literally just looked like a tank.
Yeah.
And I like the Batfleck Batmobile. I like that one. I thought it was really cool. But there's something about this that made it seem more personal because it looked like a car that because you can actually see it on the sheet inside of it because it felt like personal to him. He built it.
He built that car.
And it was like just as much of a badass as he was.
Mm-hmm.
So that Batmobile definitely gets a nice big old check mark by the Nerd Squad.
I like the cycle too. Like they released a McFarlane Toys Bat Cycle for the figures, and like I need it. And, like the detail in it it's insane. Like it looks like a simple bike, but not too simple to where you question Batman's riding that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt when I was looking at it anyway.
Like,
I was like, Batman, that's a bat bike.
But then there was that end shot when he like just finished talking to Selena Kyle before they rode off together, and you can like sort of see the front. It's got like that big like bat head shape on the front of it.
It did have that little sleek look.
It's sleek.
Yeah, I did kind of like that.
It is dope.
Nowhere near as much as I like the Batmobile. Whew. Oh, that's
so. I was just gonna say that you were talking about how great the car looked. I told Fireball about this after we were discussing that Batman trailer. The Batmobile that is in the Matt Reeves movie is based off of the Adam West series. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He actually mentioned that you said that to him, like it was built off of the frame or something like that.
Yeah, so like the Lincoln Futura is what the original Batmobile is.
Yeah.
And then they just built like a muscle car body off of that frame.
Ooh, that's
nice.
That's nice. That's a nice way to pay homage to the literal OG.
Oh yeah.
So
there's God, this Batman movie must have been how you guys felt when you saw No Way Home. Like,
oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. And trust me, I've been waiting for a Batman movie since fucking Batman Returns. I have not had a good Batman movie. I mean, granted, we had Batfleck, but he didn't have his own movie. He had Batman versus Superman and the Justice League. And a little bit of the Suicide Squad, but we ain't had no Batman movie since, like, no good Batman movie since Batman Returns. I thought the Nolan movies were trash. My opinion.
This one's gonna be hard to top. Like, if anybody in the future ever tries to play Batman and they're competing with Pattinson, good luck.
Yeah.
Like, he was near perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially if they do a trilogy, that third one where he's a little bit more veteran and he's a little bit, older.
And maybe has a Robin.
And no
Robin.
No.
Not even if it's as serious.
No. Leave Batman. There's no reason. There's no reason to give him a Robin. We got the Titans. We've got Dick Grayson and the Titans. That's all we need. We don't need Batman and Robin. They tried that. No, I would rather not. Let Batman be Batman.
You don't know what he's talking about.
I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Nope.
And speaking of Titans and Robin, if you guys have seen it, obviously if you're still here, you've seen it. That the guy in the beginning played. What did he play? Tim Drake? Yeah, he played Tim Drake in the Titan series, which kind of makes me upset. But then I realized the time frame would not have worked because Tim Drake as Batman. Batman was old, decrepit, and had very little hair. So that's fine. But what if that Batman is the Pattinson Batman? Because he is old. And he is a little skinny. He ain't like Ben Affleck, Bruce Wayne, all yoked up. He was a little thinner. Just saying.
No.
It's just a theory. That's just my personal theory.
Yeah, we don't like it when the DC blends their universes together, though.
Yeah.
So that's my only thing. And like with the group of people I went with, they weren't really big into DC. Which personally, I mean, I guess that's my biggest gripe with the movie is that it's not very accessible. Like, you would have to have a little bit of knowledge that this is kind of set in Earth 1, right?
Yeah.
So it's such a the entire movie as a whole is such a huge departure from the other Batman movies we've gotten, or even like the animated series that I could see why it turned a lot of people off. That seemed to be the room temperature for the 2 times I had watched it, was no one really... They liked what they saw, but they weren't sure what they saw.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think
Batman actually be a detective. Like.
Yeah, and I think that's personally one of my big reasons why I love this so much is because a lot of Batman movies we don't see that. Batman, his moniker is the world's greatest detective.
Yeah. And
we have never in any of the Batman movies actually seen him detect shit. He might have done like a scene or two, but this movie was like a crime whodunit. Obviously, if you know who the Riddler is, you already know Edward Nygma is the Riddler. He did it. Batman's never met him, so this is showing Batman's first time actually being a detective, beating ass on the way there, and I think that was a perfect blend because we got to see that. We had to see the tech that actually helps him be the greatest detective. We see all the little things behind the curtains that we don't really see. It's just like Batman's the greatest detective. Problem solved. You kicked your ass. Move on. Now we actually get to see him do all of that.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Like, I think the fact that the movie is so long sort of helps, like, touching on each part about Batman that we love. You know, like, it gave it more time for him to focus on the detective side. Mm-hmm. It gave him more time for the development of a sort of relationship with Catwoman. You know,
which I loved, by the way.
It was great. Their chemistry was amazing, and I really liked Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
We got great Batman action, like fight scenes. We got the whole vehicle chases and all that. Like, every single side of Batman that we got to see in the movie is exactly what we've seen in the comics, like almost verbatim.
And especially also the original Batman animated series. I feel like there was a lot of that into it because if you watch the original Batman animated series, it felt like an old mobster cartoon because everyone was wearing fedoras and the pinstripe suits and the Tommy guns. They were all gangsters. And there was a lot of detective work with that. And it wasn't really over the top. And I felt like a lot of that came from there because Batman was like very, why are you here? You know, just very one line. Move along, get shit done, straight to the point. And it was, again, dark, and they focused a lot of that mob mentality with the side mission, quote unquote, with the side story with Falcone and the Penguin. I loved that, and I love how they kind of paid homage to the original, the Batman animated series, because it really did feel like a live action version of that. If you go back and think about it, I loved it, and I cannot wait for a sequel. They need one right now. I want it tomorrow.
So can I ask you both something? Starting with Jake, what was your favorite like element to this movie that you wish would be in like every Batman movie?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm not really sure. There's not really an element. The elements are all pretty similar. In fact, the penultimate, no, not even the penultimate action scene right at the convention center was very Nolan Dark Knight Rises, with the destruction of Heinz Field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was gonna say Three Rivers, but that's their way old stadium. I'm aging myself out. So I mean, like, there's a lot of elements of all of them. I feel like they all had a little bit of it to play with everything. Like Keaton's Batman came in to play with casting of Pattinson, right?
Yeah.
Somebody you wouldn't expect. It had the action and grittiness of the Nolan movies, and then took that and cranked it to a 10.
Yes, they did.
So, I mean, overall, man, I would say if there was like an element, if I could call it one in the loosest terms, it's the story. Like, that story was just fantastic all the way out, like you guys had already touched with the crime boss stuff, setting up the further lore of that universe for the trilogy.
It was beautiful.
But I mean, overall, man, like the big takeaway that was really different from it was the story. We just haven't gotten a Batman movie like that. That's what I've told everybody when they've asked me how it was. It's like, it's a totally different movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's an actual Batman movie. It's an actual Batman.
The kind of sidebar something, because we were talking about the detective thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about the scenes where he's at crime scenes, and really, like, Batman doesn't do any detectiving. It's all GCPD and Alfred. Like, he's kind of like,
and his little contact lenses.
yeah, that's true.
And all the questions in the faces that he's punched.
and I mean, he was good at riddles. Like, he usually knew the answer to the riddles.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, Alfred is definitely, based on like what happened in the comics, usually Alfred is a cheat code. Because for little people who don't know, Alfred beat Superman. Yeah, he did that. So Alfred's a cheat code.
No. I'm not hitting on it. I just like actively detectiving. Like, you didn't do nearly as much as what I thought. Like, you know, like in like the Arkham games, like you like wander around the location in detective mode, and you like examine the crime scene and put puzzle pieces together. I mean, he kind of did that at the end of the movie when he rips the rug up with the carpet tool.
Yeah, like it all came full circle, I feel.
Oh, 100%, all the way up to that final scene.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like at the beginning of the movie, he says, I can't be everywhere at once, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that it had that whole entire scene with them blowing up the seawall and, you know, kind of that bad end vibe to it, like, yeah, he saved a few hundred people inside the convention center, but how many people died when the city flooded?
Everybody. A lot. A lot.
So, like, I really like, God damn, man, this might be one of my favorite superhero movies of all time.
Like I said, I definitely said it's my top five for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
But, and I also would like to answer, like, the element that I would definitely bring to each and every Batman movie going forward is just Batman being Batman. Not trying to overdo it, not trying like they did with in the Christopher Nolan movies, reason why I feel like I didn't like him, because they tried to overdo Batman. They try to make him more scarier than he actually is, with the deep voice and the giant intimidating lisp. The deep voice and the overacting of Batman. Yeah, I didn't like that.
And the elbow fighting.
The fight scenes for sure are just trash. We're not even going to talk about the elbow fight. But it's the fact that he wasn't being Batman. When Batman's fighting. When he was fighting Bane, no, that's not Batman. Batman is not going in there screaming. He's a ninja. Batman is a ninja. He learned from the League of Shadows. He's a fucking ninja. He's not going in there screaming. That's why I liked him, even though he was younger. He did have that, but it wasn't like, no, he didn't know. He was Batman. He was flat the entire movie. And that's what I liked about him. Like, you could see the elevation and emotion in Nolan movies. That's the one thing about Batman. There's no emotion to Batman. Period. Like he's because he's got a plan for everything. He's always overly confident, and he knows exactly what the fuck he's doing. And he's a ninja. So there's no worry with Batman. That's why I liked him so much. Is that the confidence and in himself, and the fact that he just does what he does and he knows no one can stop him.
Yeah.
And they showed that on screen. Like the first scene. Like the first scene we see Batman when they're beating up getting ready to beat up that guy, and he just walks out of the shadows. Out of the shadows, first off rip, that's a Batman thing. He literally just walks out the shadows. It's not like he did anything sneaky. The sun was there, and he just walked out and was like, "Yeah, you already know what it is," and then proceeded to put hands on everybody.
I was watching a video recently that pointed out in this movie how Batman is introduced. He walks out of the shadows, like you said, but compare that to like the other Batman, like Christian Bale was on top of that car or whatever and pulled the dude out, and then freaking Batfleck. How was he introduced actually?
It's kind of the same way. He like blew a hole in the.
Oh no, he was like a horror movie villain. He was on the wall.
Yeah.
Like perched up in the corner.
Yeah,
like
he was.
so like yeah, I think the way that they're all introduced is sort of reflective of how they are.
And I think they'll actually change how they do Battinson, how he'll start doing from the shadows more, because I think with it being his first movie, they kind of wanted to set the tone. Yeah. So, you step out and you beat the hell out of 7, 8 bad guys. You've already set the tone, and then that's it. It just goes up from there, and I love the fact that he was, again, flat the entire movie. Like, he was always just straight to the mission. They bring up something, he'd get straight to the point. Like, it's straight to the point with Batman, and I just love that.
It works so perfectly.
I absolutely loved it. And I love how they set up for sequels. I love how they could have set up for sequels. So for sequels, who would you guys like as main villains for a sequel?
Jake, you want to take that one?
I would like to see either Two-Face or something done with Court of the Owls.
Court of the Owls?
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Oh, so very interesting. Julian.
I want to see Hush.
Hush?
He was sort of hinted at, too.
He was. He was.
That shot of the black and white image that said Hush over it, that sort of had me like, I mean, they could go that route, They could. But if not Hush, then probably Joker. I want to see what that Joker was all about, because maybe they can correct some of the stuff that we didn't like about Jared Leto's Joker, maybe capitalize on some of the things that were great about Joaquin Phoenix's, and if they're building this perfect Batman with clear inspiration from all the other ones, they could do the same with Joker, and we could potentially have the best Joker we've ever had on our hands.
I want to touch on that, but I also want to answer the question. I personally also would like Hush. In the way that they set him up, but they also set up at the end where they say the city is in ruins and it's up for grabs. I also think that's also a perfect time to enter Harvey Dent. Dent and Two-Face, because he's a mobster. He runs, technically he's a lawyer turned mobster. So it may be too soon to throw him in there because you still kind of want to set him. No, never mind, scratch that.
They could do what they want, really, and it would still be viable.
Two-Face and Hush is how they have the Penguin and Falcone and the Riddler. I think Hush and Two-Face would be a great, and also to bring the Penguin back in, more of a prominent villain role in the sequel. But I think Hush and Two-Face would be great to add to the roster of excellent villains, or Victor Zsasz. If you want to do some more detective work, Victor Zsasz could go on some killing sprees, and you got to find Victor Zsasz. But then again, it'd be... Was
he the one from Birds of Prey with the blonde hair who got shot or whatever?
I never saw Birds of Prey.
Oh.
But yeah, you're right, Vic. But I did hear he was in that, so yeah.
So I mean, Black Mask would be cool too.
Black Mask would be cool because he's also a mobster. Any of the mobsters would be great. But I also have something to say about your Joker. They could leave Joker alone because. To hear me out, because
I'm hearing you out.
Because we've already had Joker. We have four Jokers.
How many Batman?
We have enough.
Enough. How many?
Wes Keaton, Kimmer, Clooney,
Christian Bale. Then you got Battinson, Batfleck. So that's 6.
6, yeah.
And Adam West, if you count Adam West. So 7.
No, that would still be 6. I counted Adam West.
Oh, okay.
Did you not?
Yeah, no, it's 6.
So 7.
7 Batman, 4 Jokers, you said?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we need
Because mostly the Batmans are spread apart. We had 3 Jokers recently. We had the Jared Leto, the Joker, this new Joker, and also Joaquin Phoenix, all within the last decade.
Well, they set them up. I think they're gonna go that route.
Right, but they don't need to do them in the first movie. I'm just saying, like, give other supervillains a chance to be in Batman movies.
Yeah.
And then do a home run with the trilogy.
Mr. Freeze would be dope.
Mr. Freeze would be cool, but my also thing is, what if that is Joaquin Phoenix's Joker? Because Joaquin Phoenix became Joker after Thomas Wayne died, and that was a while ago. So what if that actually is the Joaquin Phoenix Joker right now, when Batman is Batman? Then
that would mean that Alfred started looking like Andy Serkis after a while.
Because it was 20 years. It was 20 years ago.
But he went from what he was in Joker.
He was a big
Andy
dude.
Serkis.
He was still British. He was a big dude.
He was Australian.
Well, listen, he had
Andy
an accent.
Serkis was Australian.
He had an accent. So shut up, okay? Leave me alone.
New Zealand or something, I don't know. I don't think
that's not the point. The point is, maybe Alfred's a surname like James Bond. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't know. That's just a theory, because we never really.
It is interesting.
We did see Thomas Wayne though, so we actually did see Thomas Wayne in both movies. So that theory actually does go out the window now. I think about it.
By itself.
I think it is.
This Batman is its own thing. That's why I think its own Joker would be appropriate, because honestly, what is Batman without the Joker? Yeah. It's his most popular villain. Why would the best Batman not get his most popular villain?
I mean, I agree with you, but I was actually talking to Q about this earlier. Like, it's the same reason why you don't put a Green Goblin in every Spider-Man. But then I realized there is a Green Goblin in every Spider-Man. Tom Holland has a Green Goblin, Andy Garfield has a Green Goblin, and Tobey Maguire. They all have a Green Goblin. But one of the Green Goblins is kind of like jump universes, so I don't really know if I can count it.
You can.
But
you can.
Okay. Fair enough. I would like to see Batman go up against the Joker, because that would be great. But at the same time, it's like, you don't need to give it to me right now. Like, you can wait. Give me Scarecrow. Give me Victor Zsasz. Give me anybody else.
I feel like we've gotten plenty of Scarecrow with the... he was great in the Dark Knight movies.
The first Dark Knight movie?
The first Dark Knight movie. He was
that happened over 10, 15 years ago?
But that was a great Scarecrow.
Yeah, he was.
Hard to top.
Yeah,
and then the one from Titans got really close. Like, he was really compelling. I enjoyed that Scarecrow as well. Jake, did you see Titans Season 3?
I have not watched the Titan series at all.
Whoa. Hold up, Wood. That's a big old...
Well, okay, for one, you're missing out. And for two, in Season 3, I spoiled it for you just now. Scarecrow's in it, and it is freaking amazing. You gotta give that a check out.
Yeah.
Especially since you're a DC guy. You're gonna really get a kick out of it.
Yeah. It's great. You need to watch it. You'll love it.
It's an unpopular opinion, but like I never really got the Titans, like the animated series.
You didn't speak up, my guy.
I never really just got into Titans, man. Like even like the animated series stuff. Like I watched both of those movies, but it's kind of like, you know, give me Justice League.
Fair enough. To each their own.
Well, unlike other forms of Titans that we've seen, this group of Titans has the darker, like, DC undertones that I've been personally loving lately. Like,
yeah,
I love the dark side of DC, and to finally have these characters on that side as opposed to making butt jokes and killing giant meatball spiders inside a raven's mouth. Like, it grounds them more and makes the Titans actually seem
Badass?
believable and realistic and
Badass?
yeah, and badass. And
Badass.
and to hear Nightwing drop an F-bomb on top of Batman
Yeah,
is
fuck Batman.
like that's insane.
It is.
I love hearing that. It's so adult.
It is.
Like,
it's an adult thing.
It's really good, Jake. I think you would really like it.
Yeah, I do too, but don't listen to us. You don't have to, but do it. Watch it. You'll love it. But that would... Any final thoughts on the Batman, gentlemen?
I'm
Go
gonna
watch
raise
it.
my rating.
You're gonna rate... Because, yeah, you gave it a 7.
At
Last
first, I
night.
gave it a 7, and then in the car, I raised it to an 8.
8.
But the more I think about it and the more I talk about it, the more excited I get to see it again. And I think on that principle alone, I have to raise it to a 9. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Mine still stands. I still gave it a 10 out of 10 because that's the Batman movie that we deserved for a long, long time. Jake, any final thoughts on the Batman?
8 out of 10, man. It's a great movie. It's kind of long in certain spots.
Yeah.
You know, the constantly changing of, you know, not being able to maintain a connected universe and having different actors and stuff. It's great for being able to reboot a franchise, but it just makes it kind of hard and accessible to watch. I was perfectly fine, but it's not for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of the best detective superhero movies that we've ever gotten, and you should go watch it. It's going to be part of comic book history.
It is.
Yeah, that's a good... I'm quoting you on that.
Yep, and I'm definitely buying that
this
when that
movie
comes out.
is going to be a part of comic book movie history. Yeah.
Yes. So go see the Batman.
Go see it.
Go see it.
Go see that now.
Says the guys from Nerd Word. You guys have a good one. We will see you next time. Go see the Batman. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.